I can make them small,
All
but
right, 58
It's just so
seconds.
hard to read. I need to screen.
just annoying.
Francesca, are there printed agendas out there by any chance? No.
Is Barbara tuning in?
She has not tuned in.
Okay. Okay, we'll call the Clewiston City Commission meeting to order. This is November 17th at 5 p.m., a regular commission meeting. If you would, please stand and join me in a prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Lord, we thank you for this day. Lord, we thank you for the city of Clewiston and just the operations and everything we do, Father. We just seek your wisdom and guidance on each decision. We pray over our citizens, our staff, Lord. We just speak your blessings over their life. And we thank you, Lord, for watching over us. Thank you for watching over our first responders, our military, our police and fire and sheriff. And we just thank you for their protection, not only for them, but also for their families. And Lord, we pray all this in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, if you'd do the roll call.
Yes. Commissioner Williams,
I'm here.
Commissioner Edmonds, Commissioner Gardner, Vice Mayor Heislow,
Here.
Mayor Pittman,
Here.
City Manager Williams, City Attorney Tuck.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, any additions, deletions to the agenda?
Mr. Mayor, we will be pulling items 8 and 11 off the agenda. And we will be adding resolution number 2025-73 that should be in front of you.
Okay, 8 and 11 come off the agenda. Just looking to see what they are.
Resolution 2025-73, which should be the US 27 beautification project in front of you.
We will add item 15, which is Resolution 2025-73. Okay, next is comments from the public. Any public comments on non-agenda items? If you have a comment on an agenda item, you may speak at that time. Any comments from the public?
Mayor, I have 2 cards here. Mr. Rolly Gonzalez.
Rolly Gonzalez, 305 Via del Agua. You know, I want to thank the board for giving me a chance to speak. This weekend, I had a great reflection, and God is funny. You know, you're here, and we have most of our law enforcement department is here as well. And I spent some time with some family this weekend, and they said to me, Rolly, we don't recognize you anymore. We don't recognize you anymore. And I said, why? He's like, since you left the Clewiston, you're a different person. And last week, they brought me back to last week having a walk. I was driving and I ran into one of the commissioners, and we stopped and we had a God-sent conversation. I don't know what it was, but it was just something amazing. It was just something amazing. And Ms. Edmonds is not here today either, and I wanted to apologize the other day for being abrupt. And I just felt that, hey, you know, an olive branch is an olive branch, and I looked it up before I got here. I have my virtual assistant called Sophie, which I communicate with her all the time, and she helps me out. She helps me out a lot. And I made a promise to myself this weekend, and there's a pastor in here very important to me as well, and I was very surprised that he's here, and thank you. I didn't invite him in. I definitely did that, but I spoke to Sophie, and Sophie put a lot of words into content, and my feeling this weekend was just all bundled up, and I said, let's put something in writing. I want to keep it in writing. I want to give it to you so you keep it there. And I know we're going through a lot of trials and tribulations in the city of Clewiston, and people are confused. I always say, you know, recently I just saw something that, you know, Donald Trump and I, we have something in common. We both have Hillarys in our lives. You know, we both have Hillarys in our lives, but they make us stronger. They make me stronger too. You know, I've learned a lot. I've gotten more into politics, and I've educated myself a lot more. And I thank every single law enforcement person that's here, every employee that works for the city of Clewiston. You guys deserve better. You guys deserve a lot. And I want you all, wherever you work, to be comfortable, because I've been an operations manager all my life, and I want all my employees to be super comfortable. So therefore, with your permission, I wrote this out. It says, dear residents and commissioners, I want to begin acknowledging a reality we all know. Our city government has been under investigation for some time now over possible misconduct. I know this has caused frustration and a loss of trust among many of us, but I believe that while law enforcement carries out its work, we have a duty to focus on the future of our community. We have a lot of work, and we're going to move it forward. Our youth, our future residents, deserve a city where they can believe in. That's why I'm proposing that we take a significant step moving forward. No disrespect to you, Mr. Pittman, but I'd like for the commission to take a vote and amend our city charter to include a measure on the 2026 ballot that allows the city of Clewiston residents to elect their own mayor directly. Currently, the commission, as you know, appoints the mayor. But by letting the people choose, we can restore a sense of trust and give everyone a voice in how we move forward. It is not about changing government procedure. It's about showing that we are committed to transparency and to a government that listens to its residents. As we let law enforcement departments do their job, we can also do ours by advocating for a more inclusive and representative local government. Together, we can build a Clewiston that stands for openness, accountability, and a brighter future for all. Let's come together and make this happen. Thank you, and I promise you guys, I'm gonna work with you all to move the city forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
The second is Kevin McCarthy.
Good afternoon. Most everybody knows me in here, but some don't. My name is Kevin McCarthy, 1011 Ponce de Leon Avenue. I've been on the Clewiston Fire Department for 38 years, and I'm here to recognize Travis Reese. This is his last city meeting, for his almost 37 years of exemplary service to the city of Clewiston. He started with the city in 1988, but I didn't really get to know him until I was elected to the city commission in 1995. At that time, he was Assistant Public Works Director. Travis has worked for 8 city managers, and in that time, as he continuously has improved his education and value to the city, becoming not only an inspector but a building official. Then after joining the fire department in 2001, he also became certified as a fire marshal, one of only a couple of 100 people in the entire state to hold both certifications. In 2018, with the retirement of Chief Rob Hunton, we elected Travis to be our chief. This year, the commission and city manager moved and changed Travis's title to fire chief, making him the first full-time chief for the Clewiston Fire Department since its inception in 1931. Even before becoming chief, Travis, as a fireman and fire marshal, was instrumental in giving the department well over $100,000 in firefighter assistant grants and forestry grants for equipment and trucks. Over the last 7 years, he has moved the department forward with ever-increasing training, equipment, and professionalism. We also have Travis to thank for the latest state appropriation of a new ladder truck worth over $1 million, and his brainchild of our own training facility for new firemen, which Lynn is working on a grant for. So hopefully the new training facility will allow us to continue with our volunteer fire department, so we don't have to move the way the other county departments are moving. And we will continue to save the city well over $1 million every year, annually. The city and fire department has reaped tremendous benefits from his knowledge, his love for the city of Clewiston, and his leadership, and he will be sorely missed. Thank you.
Travis, come on up here. You're never short for
I
words.
was about to say, Travis always has words.
Didn't run out yet.
I ran out of words. This is my last commission meeting. I will say it has been an honor and a privilege to serve you. And it's been an honor and a privilege to serve with you, to my fellow firefighters. I'm honored to be part of that and blessed. And that goes for current and past firefighters and commissioners and city managers, as you mentioned. So yeah, I've seen a few changes. They've been good. As I walked in, I'm sorry we were running a call, so me and your police chief and all, we were just trying to take care of business a little bit before we got here. But the reality is things go forward. And I know I heard a little bit about things that are maybe not great right now, but they'll get better. And I truly believe that better times are ahead for our department, for our city. So keep the faith. Things always change. We have new hires, Kaylee, we have new hires, and we have people that leave and move on. But one thing that stays the same is Clewiston is one of the best communities, I think, anywhere around the state, especially the ones I've visited. So you have good people. I hate to say but you know, I'll say it's an honor. It's been an honor, privilege. I wasn't prepared to get up here and speak tonight, but I wish you all the best, and I have certainly enjoyed my time here. So with that, it's been a pleasure to serve you.
Thanks, Travis.
Thank you, Travis. I'll say just a couple of words since this seems like the appropriate time. I've been blessed to be able to serve with Travis over the years and been on many calls with him. But the most impressive thing that I've seen and gleaned from you is that you never quit learning. You never quit pushing and stretching yourself from starting with the city in the rec department, maybe, public works. He's been on the employee interview boards for the police department. He was instrumental in starting our CRA way back in the day that most of us don't even hardly remember, bringing our fire department to a level that we will rival against any full-time department, and bringing our ISO rating down from 7-something to 5-something. I'm not sure what it is now. Well, that saves everyone in here insurance money. Really the thing is loyalty. You've been loyal to every manager you've served. You've been loyal to the fire department. Just loyal to what you've done for the city. You will be missed. You're going to leave a hole that needs to be filled. It's going to be difficult to fill. But I want to thank you personally, just not only as a city employee of what you've done, but just the things that you've taught me over the years. So thank you, Travis. I appreciate you very much. Love you. All right, let's get our thoughts back together. And we have a consent agenda before us with item 8 being pulled. Does anyone want to pull an item for discussion?
I do not.
I don't either.
Okay, I have one comment, but I'll wait for the motion.
I'll motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion by Highslope, second by Gardner. Just on our lease agreements with the different entities, the golf course, country club, and there's one phrase in there that says that the city will take care of the exterior of the building and equipment. Especially for the country club, I'd like to specify that equipment because they have maybe warmers or barbecue grills or things that we don't normally. I do agree with the air conditioning, water heaters, that type of equipment, but I just don't want it to get too out of hand, especially with that one leasee that we have. The other buildings, I think all they have is an air conditioner and water heater. But because it just says equipment, I don't want to get stuck with having to replace something, kitchen equipment that's very expensive.
Mr. Mayor, procedurally, can we pull that item for discussion and then amend the motion to say that the lease is approved contingent on those changes being made?
Okay, would you?
But because we don't know the equipment that might be on all the other properties, because one's a park, so what is ours and what isn't ours? One's the senior citizen building, what's ours? So it should be, all of them should be pulled, and I think the list of equipment should apply to all of them.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're uniform with all. If we can't list it right now, maybe staff can.
What we can do is we can pull that specific language and then maybe bring an amendment back to you next board meeting with that list of equipment and have you all approve it that way if that works.
Okay,
Okay, so then I'll amend my motion to approve the consent agenda, pulling items 2, 3, 4. Is 8's already off?
To add an equipment list.
In order to get an equipment list prepared.
okay, second.
Second, I'll amend my second. Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 10 is a discussion to propose to change the work week ending date from Wednesday night at midnight to Sunday night at midnight. One of you guys from finance want to come up and speak about that?
Hello, Randy Maxon, Director of Finance. So this particularly is something we need to try to address at calendar year end. It affects Tyler, but it also, it's procedurally the right time to do this if we want to do it. If I specifically address the last payroll of the year. So currently our payroll week is Thursday to Wednesday. It's a little unusual. I'm not sure how that originally came about, but it's, typically I've seen it starts on a Monday, ends on a Sunday typically. And with that said, with our Thursday to Wednesday pay period, we have to have all the corrections in the next day by 2 p.m. Thursday. So the year, it ends Christmas Eve, so that means we have to come in Christmas Day to do payroll, which of course we're not going to do that. What we would do is we would cheat and finish it up on Tuesday and hope that we got the right numbers in and, try to make any last minute corrections. But just in general, to run a 2-week payroll, to have exactly 6 hours to get everything right and submit the ACH to the bank to be paid on a Friday, it's difficult. And so the proposal would be, if we could scoot that we make that change from Monday to Sunday, that would give us until 2 p.m. on Thursday to get the ACH ready for payroll to hit our bank accounts like we're used to Friday morning. The only hiccup with this one is that by moving that pay week back by 3 days, that last payroll period of the year would only have 7 days of pay versus a typical 10 days of pay, right at Christmas time, so that's fun. One solution we could do to offset that is allow employees to buy down, a one-time buy down of either sick or vacation time to add those 3 days of extra pay in there to give them a full 10 days of pay. We do that already next week with that one program we have. If you have more than 60 hours in your sick bank, you're allowed to buy down 24 hours. So we're used to doing that, and we can do that. And I don't know the procedures with that. I don't know if it's actually something that the board would need to vote on to allow us to have the employees have the option of buying down their buying down their sick or vacation time by 3 days to get a full 10 days of pay. The other option is to just move back the payday. The actual payday. So we would keep our pay period running Thursday to Wednesday, and instead of having payday on Friday, just push it into the next week to Tuesday. It's the easiest thing to do, but I think a lot of people are used to getting paid on Friday and would rather keep that Friday payday. So I think our two realistic options are move the pay period back from ending on Wednesday night to ending on Sunday night, and allowing possibly the buy down of the 3 days sick and vacation. And if somebody doesn't have enough hours, we can go negative in individual circumstances, and they can build back up if we choose to do that. We could just say you get paid 7 days on that last payroll of the year, but that's not nice. Or we could just move the payday back from that Friday payday to the Tuesday of the following week, and there are no other changes. I would propose, allowing the buy down of the 24 hours if you're so inclined to do that. The other reason why we need to do this is if we do move to time clocks, which we want to do, it is absolutely going to take more than 1 day to process that data. Right now we can cheat. We can start getting ready on Tuesday for people that typically work 40 hours and kind of sneak that payroll in and only make our adjustments on that last day. But when we do the time clocks, we're not going to be able to cheat. We have to wait until the end of the pay period to start that processing. We're not going to be able to sneak in some of those early timesheets like we do now. So I don't know if it needs to be a motion. I don't know if it's something that we're allowed to do.
Why can't you just move it 1 day back to Tuesday? It just seems that we've been doing this for the last 50 years, and now we can't do it. Maybe it's the program. I know we've had trouble with the program.
Moving it back, it just allows more time to process payroll. I think 1 week behind for most companies is kind of standard. Our week would end on a Sunday. Your paycheck would be available to you on Friday. We could leave it exactly the same and just keep guessing on our hours and stuff. But once the time clocks come, we're not going to be able to process. It's going to be, if we do nothing tonight, we're going to have to push payday into the next week just because we're not going to be able to process the time clocks in that 6-hour time period. Once those get turned on, the hours are never right by the directors and the supervisors. You got to deal with all the clock outs that didn't happen, you're viewing your stuff. Oh, I got 5 people that forgot to clock out 3 times last week. It's going to take an hour to fix that. So that's the main issue and it's something that logistically for our accounting software to happen at calendar year end is the best time for it to happen. And we do have the option of doing nothing. You know, option one is allow the employees to do some buy down of their sick and vacation to get a full 10 days pay instead of 7. Option two is allow us to push back from Friday payday to Tuesday payday the following week. Pushing back 1 day, it'll help. And then we'd still have the question, do we want to allow them to buy down 1 day of sick or vacation to make up a full 10 days of pay instead of 9 for that last pay period of the year? Or the third option is do nothing and we just keep doing what we're doing. And
What are the directors, what feedback are you getting from the directors or?
oh, I'm probably hitting them with this right now. This is something that kind of came up last minute, last week, because it's like we're coming up on year end and that final pay period of the year is December 24th. And I needed to kind of rush this with Francesca to get it on here because if we do need to do some type of resolution, it needs to be on the December agenda. And so this is kind of not planned out as well as it could, but it's something we need to address if possible to at least know how we want to go forward into the December meeting.
Yeah, a lot of people they're on a set scale and they want that paycheck on Friday. If we
Sure.
push that into Tuesday, we're gonna cause a ruckus. For sure.
And that's why it wasn't the preferred
Right.
method. It was, and like I said, I mean, we could also just, you know, be mean and say, well, your last paycheck's gonna be 7 days. That kind of sucks.
It seems to me like when we get the time clocks, everything will be automated. And to me, it just seems like with that technology, right? Technology's wonderful.
The issue there is, like I said, the supervisor and the director should be looking at this daily. They won't. They're gonna wait until the end of the 2-week pay period, and they're gonna see that their employee forgot to clock out 4 times over the last 2 weeks of payroll, especially in the beginning as everybody gets used to it. And we won't see those corrected timesheets until after the deadline for the ACHs. I know that's coming, especially in the beginning of that implementation. So it's the biggest thing with the timesheets, yes, it's supposed to automate, but rarely does, especially with 100, 125 employees, depending on which pay week it is, will everybody have all their stuff right? It gets automated. It's not going to happen. There's going to be more than a dozen people that didn't clock out over those 2 weeks because that's 10 times 100. You got nearly 1,000 shifts that over the course of that 2-week period that people are going to have to get right in total. And it's not going to happen.
I'd really like to hear from the directors and see what their, their supervisors and their staff feel about maybe moving it 1 day or, I mean, I'm not opposed to moving it to Sunday, but I don't want to
It
get people short
normalizes
this
it.
time of year.
Well,
you
it
know?
wouldn't,
No,
it
I
wouldn't be
don't.
short because of the pay down. If you were allowed to pay down your sick or vacation by those 3 days, you would get a full 10 days of pay. And it's just kind of, and those days don't disappear, obviously. It just carries, the amount of time it takes. You'll see those days when you leave the company, basically. You know, it's instead of having a 1-day delay on your pay period ends on Wednesday, you get paid on Friday. Pay period now would end on Sunday, you get paid on Friday. I don't want to say more normal, but it's more of what I've seen in the past versus a turnaround of 1 day, basically. So it wouldn't short, but it would cost, it would be 3 days of buy down that would have to be agreed on, I think, company-wide.
Randy, I don't know all the ins and outs of it. I know that we went from a completely paper system and everything was done by hand, basically. And now we've got some automation, and it looks like we're gonna need more automation, with the time clocks and all that. I just don't want to see any of the employees be held accountable for maybe some changes that we've made, or we're going from the old to the new, so to speak, and how we set up the payroll system. Maybe that was done, the date was done when it was done because it took longer to process. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I just want to make sure that everybody's getting paid for their work. for
Oh,
that,
sure,
yeah.
sure. And again, like the changes we made, that's a good point as far as payroll. So far, what we've done in the last year is we've moved from 40 hours a week to process payroll, 52 weeks a year down to 10 hours a week. So we have been able to reduce that, what does that equal? I think 75% of our hours. And this, the automation with the time clocks, after we get through the implementation and the pain of that, probably drop it another 5. We'll probably go down, when payroll's done, we should be down to about 5 hours per week in total as far as processing from 40 per week. Right now, like I said, we dropped from 40 to 10 with a little bit more ways to go. So everything as far as paper, everything comes into our office on paper timesheets still. We're still in the Stone Ages when it comes to that, but we've gained a lot of efficiencies within Tyler as far as processing the payroll once we get those timesheets. This is all about the transition between getting the timesheets from the directors to getting them in the system. And you're right, eventually that will be automated. But having more than 6 hours cushion to run a payroll for the 100 to 125 people is just something, because even, as down the road, as if people roll into the positions, it's going to be hard for new people. Thinking ahead, I know I'm going anywhere, but
Let me ask
you know what I'm saying. It's just we need a little bit of cushion to be able to
Okay,
process
since
this stuff.
everybody's just hearing this for the first time tonight, I have a recommendation that, you and the city manager sit down with the directors and listen to their, what could be the good, the bad, and the ugly, so to speak. And that y'all work with, the clerk and the city attorney to come back with a resolution for our December meeting. Because it's kind of hard for us, I don't know the system, how it works and how everybody gets paid. I would think that they should submit their timesheets every week versus once every 2 weeks, so that y'all could have that information ahead of time. But that's just me thinking how to lessen the mistakes at the end. But I just think if you guys can talk about it, like the mayor suggested, with the directors and of course with the city manager and the clerk, and y'all come up with a resolution that would solve the problem, that everybody gets paid accordingly, that's what I'd like to see.
Sure, we can do that.
I think that'd be good.
Okay.
So directors, a lot of y'all are here tonight, but you'll get with the manager and shoot an email to everyone tomorrow, and if it's just moving it back one day, I'd give you 1 day and 6 hours, so.
Sure.
The sheets, you just to be clear, you're saying that you don't get the 2 weeks until at the very end, correct? You don't get it by the week?
Yeah, and by week, it's not going to save any time.
Oh, okay.
Because it takes just as long to look at
Well, I was
each
just thinking
week.
about the mistakes that were made, that they could be cleared up ahead of time before that final. That's just, I don't know how it works. I'm just thinking out loud. So, but anyway, that was my recommendation.
Sure.
Just so that I understand what you're asking, what you're asking for, if we allowed the employees to do a buy down, there's no negative effect to the employees.
No, it would be, they would have the option to buy down
Right.
24 hours of sick or vacation or a
Right, so there's
combination
no
of
like
both.
negative monetary
the
gain
employee,
to
no,
them.
no.
And there's no negative effect to the city itself.
No,
It's all the
it
same
just,
in the
yeah,
wash.
and it's,
Well, no, they're losing 3 days of pay if you move backwards 3 days. So now they've got to make that money up somewhere. If you take a sick day now I've lost a sick day.
Right.
So yeah, you're going to lose something by moving backwards. Might be a sick day, it might be whatever, but yeah, it's.
Is there a requirement, I don't remember, that there has to be so many days that are bought back at the end of the year, every year for every employee? Or is it,
Or-
it's carry forward all of it?
well, we for vacation, if you have more than 320 hours saved up,
Got it. Okay.
and sick, basically, you don't get it if you leave, so there's not really an impact as far as the sick goes. So if you have more than 60 hours of sick, you're allowed to buy down 24 hours on the November paycheck. And, that's in place now. It's just kind of a way, most employees have more sick than they typically need waiting just in case something bad happens, that they have that bank. So the original thought was, and I will see what the directors come back. I'd be surprised if they came back with a different option versus, yeah, let's give everybody a chance to buy down 24 more sick hours. Banks are typically pretty fat, and but I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
We're good, okay.
All right, we pulled 11, correct? All right, let's move on to item 12, the consideration of variance request for the shed at 703 Saginaw.
Did I miss something? Did we have a resolution, or is that? I thought after him it was 2025,
71, it was pulled.
71 was pulled. I thought it was 73. I know we added 73.
We added 73, we
Okay,
pulled
got it.
71, yeah.
Sorry, Chris.
Oh, you're good. So Kaylee wanted me to go over the, Ms. Tuck wanted me to go over the, we have an ordinance that goes over required findings for issuing a variance. So this is 110-61. The city commission may grant such variance in the terms of this chapter as will not be contrary to the public interest when owing to special conditions. The literal enforcement of the provisions of this chapter would result in unnecessary and due hardship. In order to authorize any variance from the terms of this chapter, the commission must find, and then there's 1 through 6. Number 1 is the special conditions and circumstances exist which are particular to the land, structure, building involved, and which are not applicable to other lands, structures, or buildings in the same zoning district. Number 2, that the special conditions and circumstances are not the result of actions of the owner of the affected property. Number 3, that granting the variance requested will not confer on the owner any affected property any special privilege that is denied by this chapter to other lands, buildings, structures, or the zoning district. The literal interpretation, number 4, the literal interpretation of the provisions of this chapter would deprive the owner of the affected property of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same zoning district under the terms of this chapter and would work unnecessary and undue hardship on the applicant. That the variance granted is the minimum that will make possible the use of the land, building, or structure. And number 6, that the grant of the variance will be in harmony with the greater intent and purpose of this chapter, and such variance will not be injurious to the area involved and otherwise detrimental to public welfare. So we have 3 that we're considering tonight. The first is 703 Saginaw Avenue, Mr. Thomas Morrell. He wants to put a shed 2 feet off of the side property line, and the setbacks are 7.5 feet.
It says planning and zoning recommend approval with a letter of exception. Did they get the letter of exception?
So property line,
Scrolling through, I'm looking for it.
I'm trying to find it.
It's right here. I don't know what page, but
We did get a letter of acceptance
it's in there.
from the neighbor.
I can't read the name, but
Kaylee, I have a question. Do all 6 of those have to be met, or the majority of them?
All 6 of them have to be
6 of
met.
them.
So a variance is a legal land use application to be made, and in order to grant or deny, either all of them have to be met, or it has to be competent substantial evidence for not meeting one or more.
so, my 2 cents is this, and I've spoken with the homeowner, more than once, actually, about this, and I've spoken with the director more than once about this. I don't think that a variance really fixes the issue, you know? the homeowner wants to use more of their yard, which I think that terminology is important, you know, it is their yard. Our planning and zoning, you know, has the ordinance of which we set in place that he is obligated to go by. Somewhere there has to be a way for us to meet in the middle here, but I don't think that it is the safest way for the city for us to say, okay, we'll just let this homeowner do this, because then, as we discussed during the last meeting, it opens us up to possible legal ramifications down the road if we were to say deny the next variance. In speaking to the homeowner, they totally understand that and where I'm coming from. So in my opinion, we need to look at this ordinance and figure out, can we make this ordinance easier, you know, for homeowners to live with, easier for code enforcement to enforce? You know, when you think about somebody wanting to put a shed 2.5, you know, feet off of their property line, well, if you ride around town, this might be the only one we've seen this month, but it's not the only one in the city. You know, so did these other houses get variances? You know, if so, and we deny this one, maybe the homeowner has a leg to stand on to ask us why, you know. But all that to say, I don't think picking and choosing which people we're going to enforce our ordinances on is the right way to go about it. I think we need to look at the ordinance as a whole, have staff review it, let us know their recommendations and why, and go from there.
I also visited the property owner, and I looked not only in that neighborhood, but in a lot of the neighborhoods in that area, the Ridgeview area. There are a lot of sheds that are right on the property line. Some of them from the Henry County Property Appraiser's Office are over the property line. And some of them are, you know, are definitely at least 2.5 feet or closer. And so, you know, they probably did not pull permits, I'm gonna say, or if they did, I don't know where the measurement was done. But I think we need to look at our ordinance, because the property owner, you know, I was in his backyard, I looked around, and it would be nice for him to be able to use the existing, not only his sheds, but his neighbor's sheds are at least at 2.5 feet, you know? And so, and not just there, other areas in town that I rode on both the north side and the south side. So, yes, we have an ordinance, but it looks like Mr. Morrell came and did it the proper way, and maybe some of the other ways have not been done proper. So I don't know. I'm not saying that we should change the ordinance just so that everybody's grandfathered in, because, you know, I don't want to do that. But in looking at everything, I think the 7.5 feet needs to be modified, in my opinion, based on what I've seen.
And I know Mr. Cooper's going to say, no, it needs to be more than 7.5 feet because of fire this or fire that. And I get it, but I think that's a conversation for another day.
Right.
But I stand firmly behind what Commissioner Gardner just said. We need to look at this with the ordinance, and I would like to see us, in having spoken to this homeowner, I know you were relatively new in this role and trying to clean up, you know, this process and deal with the CRA stuff. I think that it might be beneficial for us to have, and maybe you're going to be like, no, Commissioner, we already have that, a tangible checklist for someone, you know, looking to do a modification like this on their property. Like, these are the steps. This is what you need to do. Just so that it's very clean, very cut, very dry for folks to make modifications on their own property, you know? I think it'll make it easier for staff, and I think it'll make it easier for homeowners.
Well, and just to be clear, my job is black and white lines. That's my job. Florida Building Code to NEC, National Electrical Code.
I am in no way knocking how you're doing your job.
Yeah, my job is
I'm
black and
not.
white lines.
I promise
So-
I'm not. I think you're doing a great job. But I think in order for you to continue to do your job and do it well, we need to fix this at an ordinance level, not at an individual level.
And you brought up the checklist, and I think for anything, for anybody comes in to apply for anything, you know, whether a new business or they want to make some, I think we should have a checklist for anything. So I know you guys got a lot going on, but I think a checklist, and there might be already some checklist, but obviously this property owner, you talked to him, I talked to him, there was not a checklist for pulling a permit for a shed. So, yeah, I think that's a great idea, and he recommended that to make it easier for the owner. And I
Right.
think that's what we should do, Chris, and I know that you're about that, is trying to make it easy for the community businesses and for the residents. in
Well, that's
doing
one of the
business
best
with
parts
city.
about black and white lines is
Yeah.
it expedites the entire process.
Well,
And we could just make it easy to access, so residents know, like, oh, I can go right there and see exactly what's needed and call it a day.
yeah, well, I'm thinking that, you know, this went before the zoning board, and they approved it on the contingency of the neighbor. And I'm willing to back up what our zoning board and go along with that, but I also agree if there's a better checklist, I'm all in favor of looking at that.
He's been waiting for months already, and he came last month just to get back on again. This month, just so we can tell him we're gonna push him off again to write a new ordinance. I'm with, if Building and Zoning Board said they were good with it, and I'm with these two. I went out to the property and I looked at it and talked to Tommy, and I don't see a problem with it. I really don't. I hate you can't use your own property anyways.
But the problem
That's-
isn't necessarily gonna be with this one, the problem might be with the next one.
I completely understand, but I don't know.
I mean, seeing there.
If it was good enough for Building and Zoning,
Well, there's
until
already
now.
There's an existing shed, as there, no, we've all been out to the property, that's already 2 feet. I think he's just wanting to put this one the same distance.
right, where the existing already is.
Right.
Because on that side, he only has the one neighbor. The back is a city park. There's nobody back there. So, but again, in reading those 6 requirements, I mean, he meets 5 of them, in my opinion. He doesn't meet one of them. But you're telling us that the city attorney has to meet all 6 of them.
There has to be a finding on the record that all 6 requirements are met, yeah. There has to be a finding on the record that all 6 requirements are met, correct?
So if the commission votes to approve this, that means that we're saying all 6 of these requirements have been met, even if they haven't?
There has to be a finding made on the record that all 6 requirements are met. If you can make that finding confidently, then yes, that's what your vote would say.
Thank you.
Get hungry? We'll wait for Mr. Williams and then see if, does anybody want to make a motion?
Sorry, I had to take that.
Even, I hate to table this again, but
Making a motion to approve the shed?
I'm asking, does anyone want to make a motion? Yes.
But you stepped out. I don't know if you heard the attorney say that all 6 of these findings required findings have to be met,
And those are the 6 that are already currently in the ordinance now?
right? And he does not meet that. I'm with you. I understand.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
I'm
And
gonna
I-
come back to, we have to fix this through the ordinance itself. That is their path forward, is fixing the ordinance, my opinion. And it's the cleanest legal way for us to do this, in my opinion.
Is there any way to fast track this, to get it done quickly, and to have a special meeting to address? I mean, I know it's close to holidays and all that, but, Commissioner Williams brought up a great point. I mean, this is going on for months.
I'm happy to rewrite the ordinance in any direction that y'all want, but in order to amend an ordinance, it has to be read once and then read again. So it's gonna be at least 2 meetings deep before we can make an amendment to
Unless
this,
we have a special meeting.
which we would have to have 2 special meetings
We
in
would have
order.
to have 2, and we need at least 10 days of publication before the public hearing to adopt.
So we could have this done in 30 days, technically.
Technically, yes.
No pressure.
I mean, that's what I would like to see us do. That's just me.
Oh, we need a motion.
I want to see the
table.
shed get put up, but I also don't want to put us in any legal troubles either. I mean, honestly, if we say, all right, let's put the shed through, we're breaking two of those rules that I listened to right off the bat. So as much as I want to say, yeah, I
think
can't.
we all do. I really do.
God.
Just the whole process and
annoying.
it's the delays. And so, I think we need to have special meetings to get this done and fix it.
Yeah, I think if we can do that and have the special meetings and expedite the process and maybe get it done before,
We
you
have
know.
a workshop. Is it a workshop Thursday,
It's
Francesca?
the workshop.
But you gotta have it, but you gotta have, but,
Said fast
but there
track.
has to be 10 days
Yeah, you
notice.
have to advertise it for 10 days.
No, I'm saying for him to come up with an ordinance for us to look at. We don't need an
It would take,
advertisement just for you to write something for us to look at.
right,
Not to vote on it, just, because we're gonna have to tweak it, I'm sure.
once I,
Certainly workshop it on Thursday if that was the case.
Yes, ma'am, that's what I was talking.
so that would be a workshop, and then writing, then 10-day advertising, hear it, 10 more days advertising, hear it again.
It's just 10 days in between
Okay.
before adoption. So
Okay.
we would be okay with that.
And then we would be ready at our early-ish December meeting to approve. Well, there wouldn't be a variance request,
There
perhaps.
wouldn't be a variance request. If we modified this,
Right.
this variance request wouldn't mean
Right.
anything.
Since we're having to, I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up, since we're having to modify, because we realize that there's a need, I mean, obviously it's been happening. I know that he had to pay to bring this variance request.
Mm.
And I don't know how that works, but I think we need to look at it because of the time delay that we've had in this.
Well, I did ask Mr. Cooper today if this was, denied, like, would the homeowner get their money back? And I think the answer was no, right? Like, that's not the precedent.
My
that-
only thing is would we refund every single applicant that was denied
There's
their
no
money back?
refund. There's no refund.
And
Okay, I'm just
I-
asking.
that's my
because we're
only
gonna
thing is
change
I
the
wanna-
I
ordinance,
didn't
so,
know the answer
you
to
know,
that either.
Okay, it's brought up a good point
right,
of having us to relook at the ordinance. Okay,
If that's the avenue, we'll need a motion to table.
I'll make a motion
Wait.
that we,
if he's not gonna come back for a variance? Because if we change the ordinance,
I
there's
think
not
we
gonna
just
come
need
back,
to deny it.
right? I mean,
I make a motion that we approve the variance for the shed on 703 Saginaw.
Okay, I'll pass the gavel in second.
Oh, okay. It's been a long time. Any commission comment?
I'd love to approve it, but knowing that the variance requests legally are not met, I just can't say yes.
I will also be voting no, and the homeowner is aware of it. We've spoke about it. I don't believe putting a Band-Aid on this fixes anything. I think it can put the city at risk, and I would like to see us work on it through the ordinance itself. So
The
all
only
in-
other discussion I would have is,
sorry.
if we're gonna do an ordinance to massage this, so this would work, why not pass it and then still do the ordinance so it works?
Well, I don't know that 2.5 feet will work, but as I discussed with the homeowners, maybe there's a comfortable, compromise that we can come to that, would satisfy them, but still be okay from a planning and zoning standpoint or a fire standpoint. We have to look at the very real possibility that, if the neighbor you mentioned already has a shed on that line, and then 708, I believe is the address, puts a shed on their line, 2.5 feet, what happens if one of those catches on fire and the wind is blowing just right? Then boom, they're both on fire. So I don't know that I would support 2.5 feet specifically, but I don't also know that we need 7 on every side, if that makes sense.
7.5, yeah.
Any more discussion?
Nope.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Nay. The motion
Motion
dies.
fails. All right, the motion fails, so we will move on to item number 13 is consideration of a variance for 805 North Lopez Street.
Okay, so this, same rules apply to the variance. This is already built, it's site built, it's not a shed, no permits pulled, no engineering for what he constructed. There is an active PUE in the rear of the property, and he is 8.5 feet into that PUE. It's got electric, plumbing, and water lines running through that PUE. He is 3 feet off of his side property line. He's supposed to be 7.5, and he is 8.5 feet into the PUE, public utility easement.
It needs to come down.
My recommendation is this does not go through.
P&Z also denied this, so I'm going to uphold their recommendation.
I agree.
So we'll need a motion if there's any discussion.
What was the address again?
A motion
803
that we not
Lopez?
approve the
80.
variance request at 805 North Lopez Street.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
So with that, is that an order that he demolish what he's built?
Demolish or remove it out of the
Okay.
PUE,
Right.
and the the setback requirement needs to be
Amending
upheld.
your motion.
I'll amend my motion.
I'll
Yeah.
amend my second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries.
All right, so the third one is 815 East Sagamore, which is Big Time Power Sports, is the golf cart business that's coming into town. In the 27 corridor, the following uses are not permitted in the 27 commercial corridor district, but may be authorized by the imposition of the conditions of approval, and all negative impacts are ameliorated by those conditions. Number 3 is a repair shop, service for vehicles, trucks, boats, recreational vehicles, and other automotive equipment. My recommendation is that we do approve this. P&Z's recommendation was not to. I feel as though he's already addressed any of the issues that we may or may not have had. He's got roll-up garage doors that he's going to put on the building so he can close it at night. He's putting a privacy fence around the entire property on Sagamore, and he has his showroom right next door to the mechanic shop. So as a business owner, if I've got a beautiful showroom, I'm not going to let my mechanic shop look trashy. So I feel as though he already took into consideration the fact that mechanic shops are not exactly attractive, and he's made the provisions to address that.
When I looked at this plan, I thought the same thing, like that it's exciting to see, a new business coming into town, a business that I think will be very beneficial to the community as a whole. What I'm most excited about is to watch this ordinance work. We worked long and hard on building this ordinance with these conditional uses and whatnot. So I'm excited to watch it work the kink out itself. A mechanic shop isn't prohibited necessarily. It was a conditional use, and this is why, so that folks would have to turn in plans and they would be aesthetically pleasing in that downtown area. I'm pleased to know that ordinance is doing exactly what it was built to do.
My only concern, and I did bring it up at the last meeting, was that how it would look, and you've given us here, or he's given us a rendition of what it's going to look like, and that he has the roll-up doors in the front and the roll-up doors in the back. Were any adjacent property owners notified of this?
Yes,
Okay.
they were,
All right.
and there were no objections.
There were no objections? Okay.
We didn't necessarily get approval from neighboring business owners, but we didn't get any objections.
Okay. I mean, he has to meet all the other requirements of the Main Street corridor and the look of the building. I mean, from what the rendition that we have, and I know the public can't see it, but this is the rendition of
It looks great.
with the roll-up mechanics door
Right.
on both sides.
Now, my question is about, he's got a picture of a couple different fences in here. The see-through fence, I don't think is gonna work.
So the see-through fence is going against 27. That's where all of his golf carts are going to be parked. So whenever you're riding on 27, you see the pretty fence and the pretty
Mechanic shop will be on the rear lot
on Sagamore. You will access that through Sagamore, off of
That'll have
Sagamore.
the wooden fence I'm looking at, or
That will have the privacy fence. He's actually, just to be upfront with you, he is considering a different type of privacy fence because wood has gone through the roof waiting on the process. So he's looking at possibly, which I will have to put back before the TRC for them to consider because we approved the wood fence. And now he's discussing changing it because it could save him almost $20,000 by changing the fence. So, but it is still going to be a privacy fence. I actually was on the phone with him right before I walked in here, and he's going to send me over some information on what it is that he's using. But it is going to be a privacy fence.
okay, my other concern is the drawing of the fence crosses the alley. That alley is not gonna be fenced off.
That was denied by TRC. That was his first rendering of it. After it went to the TRC, we refused to let him block that alley off. So he's going to have adjacent double gates right across from each other so that people can pull off of 27, see the golf carts, walk to the back to go to the showroom and do paperwork.
Okay.
So he is not closing the alley off.
Okay,
And now that, since we talked about the fences, the wrought iron black on the front,
Yes, ma'am.
and then the wood privacy fence was gonna be around the back, but it's gonna be something different, but it's still gonna be a privacy fence.
It's still gonna
not
be a privacy
the black
fence.
wrought iron.
Yep.
Okay.
It's still going to be a privacy fence, and I just told him if he's changing the fence at all, I'm taking it back before the TRC for approval.
okay, any questions?
Yeah.
We're not closing the alley,
Sorry,
but my question
you gotta
to
come
you
up.
Can
is,
you'll have to come up
Yep.
here, sir, and state your name.
just to make things clear. Hello, everybody. I'm Hugo. Everybody in this town knows me. I do a lot of business here in town, and I help a lot of people. My question is, I know you said the alley's not going to be closed off, but how is it going to affect him? Because that's a busy alley. We have trucks coming with food and our trucks coming with parts. Is he going to be bothered by that? And he's going to have to live up to it because people, when they go to Sunrise to eat, they all use that alley. So I just hope there's not an issue.
Right.
So he'll have to adhere to the not blocking the alley rule. and things
Exactly.
of that
That's a
nature.
busy alley, and not just for the people. For, God forbid a fire happens.
The alley's not gonna be, we're not blocking off the alley.
No,
It's
that's good.
still-
I'm
it's
glad.
still-
Yeah.
It's still
I
gonna
just
be
hope-
open for everybody.
No, that's good.
And it's not any different than I guess the hotel that was there before. I
Yeah,
mean, they
people were
had
just walking
both,
across.
Right across.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I was just making sure that it's all clear to him because he has to get used to that traffic because it's another little 27 there. So
Oh, yeah.
hopefully he's not complaining to the city, oh, there's too much traffic. It's normal. He's just going to have to
Right.
get used to it.
It's
Okay.
a busy place.
Okay. Just wanted to make it clear. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that wants to talk about this? No.
Okay, so whoever makes a motion, if it is to approve this, please include the fence and the mechanic shop has to be on the back as shown, I guess.
Okay. I'll motion that we approve the conditional use application at 820 East Sugarland Highway and 815 East Sagamore Avenue, contingent on the specs in their conditional use application itself, noting that they will not be closing off the alley.
Okay, a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, all right, any further discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I think the most important thing is that it is, I mean, the blight that was there has been erased.
Yeah, looks,
So-
looking better every day.
Yeah.
Okay, we have one added item, number 15. This is Resolution 2025-73.
I apologize that this is a walk-on, but we closed the bid on this on Wednesday, and if we didn't act on this, it would be another month before we could possibly get this agreement. And we have a tight construction deadline that we're trying to meet per this grant. So
Okay, this.
I appreciate this, and getting this done tonight.
Okay, this is an FDOT Highway Beautification Grant. And this is Phase 6. I will read the resolution by title. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Clewiston, Florida, approving an agreement regarding the US 27 Sugarland Highway Phase 6 beautification project between the City of Clewiston and Honolulu Landscaping and Irrigation, Inc., authorizing an appropriate city officials to execute the agreement, providing for severability, conflict, and an effective date. You don't have the plan with you, but, oh, it's up there. You surprised me. If you don't mind, if you'll just, can you flip over to the actual median project, just to show the public trees are going?
6 or 7, yeah, so
Yeah, just
it's
pictures.
west of Lopez, or San Luis, I'm sorry, west of San Luis. It goes beyond Flagler and a couple of medians beyond that. It's 13 trees.
So it finishes off, I mean, it's not down the center like I wanted it.
It is, it's in the median.
It is in the
Like it, yeah, so Phase 5 took us to just before San Luis, and then 6 is going to take us 13 more trees
So close to
carrying
the
on west.
flagpole.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. so
And
this-
then just also along Royal Palm, we've got 5 trees that need to be swapped out that are dead, and that's part of the contract as well. That's not grant reimbursable, but we've got a great contractor. He also did the Phase 5 work, Hanula. So, and we just received 1 bid, so we're recommending that we award the contract to Hanula.
Okay. A motion or comments?
I'll motion that we approve resolution number 2025-73.
Been by Highslope. Williams, you gonna second it?
Can I, so if we do this, it's gonna cost the city $17,000? Is that what it's saying?
That's for the tree swap outs on Royal Palm.
And that, okay.
We just did it as part of the bid.
Yeah, I second that motion.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to staff comments. City Attorney?
Just one comment / question for the workshop on the shed ordinance on Thursday. How would you like that to be structured? Would you like us to bring some examples of what other cities are doing? Would you like just open discussion? What would you like on that workshop?
I think it's always helpful to see what other cities are doing.
Okay.
Like, I mean, no need to reinvent the wheel, as much as we can.
Okay.
Just a historical summary of how we got to where we're at.
Okay.
Okay.
That's for the retirement,
No, I think it's,
It'll be added to that workshop discussion on the setbacks.
oh, you're talking setbacks. I'm talking about the workshop itself for Thursday. So that's it, your only comment? Okay. Let's see, we'll start with Commissioner Williams.
All good on my end. We're moving forward. I know there's been a lot of negative talk around everything, but in the last 30 days, I've seen a lot of positive things happening. So, I mean, I'm content right at the moment in time. I don't have anything to complain about, so all good on my end.
Soccer's going well.
Soccer's going well. I'm going to go right after this. We've got a game in 30 minutes.
Oh, you're doing great then.
Yeah.
All right, Commissioner Gardner?
Lynn, can you come up and, I know that we received the information about the grant? Yes. Or the 100% forgiveness?
SRF loan. Well, it's principal forgiveness.
Yeah.
So the city was placed on the priority list for $8.8 million for water improvements.
Can you kind
It's-
of give us a scope of what that would
That's a big
include?
deal, man.
I mean, is it everything? Is it just the water plant? Is it?
Ostensibly, it was for another storage tank at the water treatment plant. It's a supplemental funding, so it's federal money, and we tied it to Milton and Helene hurricane incidents. But in the facility plan that we're going to generate after we get the agreement in place, we can also put in distribution projects, looping, replacing old water lines, the kind of things that we've come before the CRA for money, you know, in the Highway 27 corridor. So with this kind of money, I'm hopeful that we can have a
Do
really
submer-
positive
new
impact.
submersibles, new pumps?
Yeah.
'Cause I know we have one that's failed, right?
Oh, at a lift station, are you?
No, water
Oh.
supply.
Oh,
Well, you don't have
well,
to
we
answer
can
that
look
right
at,
now. Yeah.
yeah, we'll procure engineering services to do that facility plan, and they'll help us do an assessment of where we get the most bang for the bucks and what we can replace and where it's
That's good.
needed.
Good news.
And I just got to give another plug for our AMI meters, because we can get the pressure monitoring out there and get more data on where this stuff is really needed, these projects are needed. So, yeah, it's really good news.
Great. Thanks, Lynn. Appreciate it. I just have one thing on, I know that state law allows fireworks on several times a year, but this past 4th of July, the amount of cannons that were going off were huge. I don't know if y'all were in town for 4th of July. It was massive. I had a lot of complaints, and I know that by law, there's only certain things that you can, I guess, maybe discharge in the neighborhood. I just want to make sure that if we need to do anything to our ordinance, if we need to I should say, it sounded like bombardment in some neighborhoods is what I was told. So I don't know how we fix that, if state law does govern what can and can't be done in a municipality, but I'd like for us to look at it. I mean, I love fireworks, and I think fireworks are wonderful, and I'd like to see them go off on, you know, the special events, but the cannons were just, the bombardment was just, I think, it was just over the top.
I think citizens are allowed up to a certain class. I'm not going to speak intelligently, class A, B, C, whatever it is. Maybe the interim chief knows off the top of his head, but
And I haven't
certain
spoken
things
to-
you can do,
I haven't
but-
spoken to anybody about it, other than I just remembered that we're getting close to the end of the year, and I think New Year's is one of the days that they can, and I just want us to make sure we get the information out in the community that's appropriate of what is allowed and what isn't allowed. Because I'm telling you, the bombardment was pretty hefty this past 4th of July. And it just wasn't one neighborhood, it was several. That's it.
Vice Mayor?
I don't have a whole lot to add. I mentioned before that the Chamber is hosting an event tomorrow from 5 to 7 at the Museum Chamber Building. I know they would appreciate, you know, the support of city staff or the commission. Looking through the last couple of days, the agenda, I saw the the best staff report this month goes to Natasha. It looks like you guys have been doing some great things at the library, and I don't know, maybe a lot of times the library is kind of like the unsung hero of City Hall when it comes to the kids and the older, you know, generation. So you're not always here, so I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you. And I know you're good, and congratulations to Travis.
And just putting a plug in for the Friends of the Library, if anybody really would like to help out with the library. I know Natasha and the board is always looking for additional Friends of the Library members to just continue to work at the library, because it is an amazing place.
I don't know, they've always got stuff going on, and
Yeah. So,
Might not get talked about enough, so. That's all.
No, I just echo what the commission said, especially for you, Travis. You know, best wishes to you as you move forward. One of our speakers this evening mentioned the city charter and maybe reviewing some things there. I'd like the commission to consider and maybe a charter review. I don't know if we could get it done by the 26th election, but I think there's a few things in there that might need to be massaged, at least looked at. I'd like your thoughts maybe at the next meeting, which we couldn't wait too long because I know there's certain steps and it takes several months to.
Is that a committee, like a outside agency?
Well, no, typically you would just set up a charter review committee of maybe some citizens, maybe a staff member, maybe a commissioner, and they would review the charter line by line.
I think in the past, each commissioner appointed a charter review committee member.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It
it's
was-
like
and it
a
was
board, like a
Of
CRA
the
or
attorney and the
something?
city
It's
manager
been
and
several
the city
years.
clerk.
I
Yeah.
think back in 2008 or 9 or 7, 8, I can't remember now. But it may be due, there might be new rules, laws, things like that that would enhance our city and make it easier. I'm not saying I'm for a mayoral run government, but it's something to at least talk about.
Sure.
But, so thank you for bringing that up, and I think that's all I have too. Looking forward to the workshop on Thursday, and that, motion to adjourn.
So moved.